Okay, so we're going to have quite a grounding practice, and we're just going to take our legs to the outer edges of our mat in a kneeling pose and making your way down to your child's pose. Taking your time here to lengthen the spine and allow the head to fall heavy into the mat. Deep breathing here as you notice your breath. With every breath cycle, just feeling into your child's pose. Feeling the breath expand the belly. Taking your hands over to your left side and settling down, feeling the side body here as you breathe. Noticing the expansion and release of your lungs as you take yourself over towards the right side. Sit bones dropping to the heels. And bringing yourself back to the center. Just feeling your breath. Noticing the breath cycles here as you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Lengthening the spine, energy out through the head, energy out through the sit bones. And making your way to your wide-legged kneeling pose. Fingertips facing forward, heart's just going to take a little arch of the spine, heart leads forward. Breathing here. Allowing the collarbones to smile. And neutralizing the spine, bringing yourself up to your kneeling position, drawing the knees so that they're hip width apart, and just taking a little moment here to take yourself to your all fours pose. Breathing in your all fours pose. Neutralizing your spine here, drawing the belly button up towards the spine. Taking a rounding of the pelvis and a release of the pelvis. We're just isolating the pelvis at the moment. So just breathing here. Lovely. Returning to a neutral spine, hands directly underneath the shoulders. Inhale, taking your first arch. And exhale to round out the spine. Staying in your rounding motion for a moment as you breathe here. And release back to a neutral spine. Protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades. So we're just going to round out the shoulders as much as you can and sink. Just exploring the shoulder blades. Noticing how they are moving today. As you move through and in between these two places of sinking and rounding. Lovely. release. And taking cat-cow again, inhale, arch. Exhale to round. Inhale, deep arch. Exhale to round. Beautiful. Walking the hands a little bit closer, keeping the spine round and pushing the ground away. Bringing yourself back to your kneeling pose here. Open the heart. Draw the shoulder blades so that they squeeze in the back. And then neutralizing the spine. Taking your hands just to the outer edges of the knees, spreading your fingertips wide. We're just going to place our soles, our backs of the feet, into the mat. And we're going to lift our pelvis. And lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. If this feels too much right now, you can just stay in your kneeling pose. Feeling the shoulder blades spreading apart as you do that. And slowly bringing yourself back to center. Deep breaths. Noticing your breath in your body. And notice any sensations in the body. Taking a gentle spinal twist. As you open out the torso and breathing here. Start to identify any areas of tension through each movement and mindfully breathing here. Hands reach out, spread your fingers as wide as possible, opening and closing. Even quicker. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, up. Side. Even faster. Forwards. Up. Maybe feeling it now, and to the sides. Beautiful. Bringing your hands forward and circling. Mindfully looking at the hands. And then the other way, rotating in the wrists. Beautiful. Bringing yourself to prepare for a plank pose. Drawing the belly button to the spine and rounding through the shoulders in this plank pose. Taking a few breaths here. Drawing the right knee towards the middle of the chest. And then rotate on the back heel to find a spinal twist. And kick and extend if that feels right for you. And back to center. And stepping back. Shifting the weight forward, left side. Beautiful. Floating the knees down, pressing back to a child's pose, knees hip width apart. And breathing. Slowly and gently shifting the weight forward, stepping your right foot to the outer edge of your right hand and just breathing in your low lunge. Noticing the flow of the breath here. Notice what happens if we apply some pressure through the front foot and then release, swimming the toe around to the back. Just stretching out the calf here as you push back into the heels of your hands for a moment. Knee floats down, left foot to the outer edge of your left hand and just breathing here, feeling into your hip opening, low lunge, heart forward and breathing here. Noticing the flow of your breath. And slowly shifting the pelvis back, swimming the toe around to the back. And just having a moment here to stretch out the back of the calf. And maybe moving into the ankle joint. Lovely. Slowly floating the foot down and hands underneath your shoulders here. Tuck the toes under, spreading the toes wide. And we're going to lift our knees as we breathe here for 4 breaths. Drawing the belly button to the spine. Notice the flow of your breath here. Right foot steps through the middle, just pressing the pelvis up as you look to the underneath hand. Lowering the pelvis, reaching the left hand down to the ground, right foot steps back. Breathing here. On your next breath, stepping the left leg through and lifting and squeezing in the glutes, lift the hips. And breathing here, slowly lower the pelvis and returning to your all fours, knees lifted. Right foot steps through. Lifting in the pelvis, taking the head to the ceiling as we lift our chin, drawing the pelvis up high. And slowly lowering back to your all fours, left side. Here it's really important that we lift through our pelvis and relaxing the front of the neck and the jaw, slowly lowering down. Hands placing down on the ground and bringing yourself back to your all fours. Slowly returning to your kneeling pose. Taking your hands to heart center as you breathe here. Taking a spinal twist in one direction, as big as or as small as you need this to be. And the other direction, and back to center. Slowly taking yourself to your seated position, feet stretched out in front. And noticing your sit bones planting onto the ground, breathing here. Taking your right hand to the side and just taking yourself to a side stretch, feeling into your side body and exhale. Inhale, lifting the other hand and exhale into the side stretch, reaching the crown of the head away. Inhale, lifting tall. Exhale, floating down. Inhale over the top. And breathing here. Notice your top shoulder. If it's falling in, can we open out by sending our heart forward here and taking ourselves back in space. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, floating down. Other hand, inhale, big reach. And exhale into the stretch. Really taking your time here to feel the energy out through the crown of the head and reaching to plant both sit bones onto the ground, rolling the top shoulder open. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, floating down. Inhale, two hands reach up. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, hands float down. Inhale, big reach up. Drawing the feet together, reaching up as high as you can, and exhale, sending the heart forward, allowing the head to fall wherever you land. And breathing here. Notice the head falling heavy. And see if we can breathe through any tension that might be arising as you take your first stretch in your forward fold motion. Drawing your right heel towards the butt. Taking a deep breath. Changing over, left foot towards the butt. Taking a deep breath, lengthen through the spine. Changing feet, right side, lengthen through. And changing, other side. Returning back to the right foot. Stepping the right foot over heel towards the left hip and embracing the leg here as you breathe. Sitting tall and drawing the belly button to the spine. Notice the back shoulder. Can we relax here? Inhale, reaching and lengthening. Exhale, finding your gaze to the back of the room. Small spinal twist. As you breathe here, noticing any sensations arising in the glute of your right hip. And just breathing here. One more breath. Taking in your surroundings behind you and then drawing the gaze back towards the screen. Bringing your feet here. And just here we're going to wiggle our toes. Taking your hand around the sole of the foot. And then I invite you to take a cradle pose here. Or if this feels like it needs a little bit of time, we can just allow our foot to relax here. Allowing this hip opener as we breathe here. Taking the hip opener and seeing if the shoulder tension arises through taking the weight of our leg and our foot. And if so, just easing out of any shoulder tension and maybe taking a gentle rock from side to side. Beautiful. Noticing how this feels right now. Lovely. Taking the peace fingers of the right hand around the right foot. So same hand as foot as you kick the leg away, drawing the heart up and open as we lift here. Hand rests by the side just to support you as we find a hip opener here. And this can be as low or as high as it needs to be, Just feeling into breathing as you swing the hip. Lovely. Beautiful. And roaring back to center, taking around the hamstring, and then just a few folds of the leg just to lubricate the joints. Lovely. Taking hold here. And we're just going to circle. And the other way. Really nice. Taking the sole of the foot to the inside thigh, finding our half lotus. And just settling here, notice your sit bones on the ground. Neutralizing the spine. As we breathe here, inhale, reaching the hands high. Exhale, lengthen, heart forward. Heaviness in your head as you breathe here. Letting go of any judgment around where you need to be and just arriving where you are and breathing into that space. Seeing if the out breath can help you to find a bit more depth and surrender to this pose. Bringing yourself back to your center, stacking the foot towards the inside thigh, sitting tall, breathing here. Opposite hand to the leg that's bent is going to freely reach forward. And then we're going to take the other hand behind us to support our self in this pose here as we breathe. Taking the front hand and just finding a hook to support a spinal twist here. Gaze to the back of the room, back of the mat, and just breathing here. Taking your time with this pose. It's really important that we feel our way through the poses. And sometimes reaching a full pose takes a little bit of time, so just breathing here. Taking a moment to release here. Lovely. From here, just allowing the hip to fall and then stacking it back up, allowing it to fall and stacking it back up one more. And stepping our feet wide here. Internal rotation, external rotation. Take your time with the rotations in the hip socket and really think about driving the knees outwards as you breathe here. Lovely. Taking the foot in, just in front of the pelvis. Foot in line with shin as you breathe here. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, heart center. Taking the hand of the long leg here. And just taking a reach over to the side, rolling the top shoulder open. Inhale as you reach that hand up and over. Just find your stretch here. Rolling your top shoulder open and breathing here. Just notice the neck, the front of the neck, and just see if we can release any tension here as we feel into this side of the body. As we breathe. Inhale, reaching the hand tall. And exhale, floating down, returning so that the feet are directly in front of you, hip width apart. And then from here, we're just going to return to our spinal twist that we did before. And back to center. Keeping the legs where they are, I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can see me. The right hand is going to reach up high, left hand on the front of the ankle joint, sitting tall. Inhale, reaching the right hand forward. And then we're going to swing the hand around the back. Option is to take a bind here. Allow the head to fall heavy. And if for any reason the bind is not available to you, you can just rest in a forward fold. Releasing out of the bind and maybe drawing the foot closer to the butt cheeks. As you breathe here, heavy head, releasing from the bind and bringing yourself to your seated position, giving the knees a little hug for a moment. And breathing here. Placing the hands to the outside of the hip. And then we're just going to allow our knees to fall, a sweet window wipe for our legs. Preparing to repeat this all on the other side. So we extend our legs away, finding our staff pose, shoulders directly on top of the hips, rather than sitting forward or projecting in the rib cage. So breathing here, inhale, reach up high. Exhale, slowly bring the hands down to heart center. Inhale, reach up high. Slowly down to heart center. Hands placing your hands to the side, reaching over to your right side. Sit bones both firmly planted into the ground and all the way up. Taking that stretch over to the other side. And all the way up. Reaching both hands high. Exhale, forward fold, heart forward, allow the head to fall heavy. And then relax your feet this time. And breathe in here. Drawing the feet together, taking around the wrists, if that's available to you. You can use your hands as a lever to draw your heart forward, nose forward, closer to the toes. And then release the hands and just settle for a moment. Allowing any tension to melt away here as you breathe. Beautiful. Slowly and gently drawing yourself all the way up, opening the heart and returning to your neutral spine. Lovely. Left foot in. Switching sides, right foot in. Just two this time and returning to your left side. Pressing into the foot to lengthen through the spine. Feel the trapezius and the shoulders drop as you breathe here. Stepping left heel to the right hip, or as close as we can get today. And we're just going to breathe here. Noticing the base of the spine lifting and lengthening. So what we're not doing is crunching down on the base of our spine. We're thinking about up and open here. Finding your spinal twist. And as you breathe here, just noticing the back space, noticing your surroundings here, and breathing, drawing the knee close to the body. How does your breath feel in your body right now? And then slowly and gently bringing yourself back to the front, taking the cradle position and sitting tall here. Maybe gentle sway side to side, allowing any tension to melt away in the shoulders as you breathe. Lovely. Taking left peace fingers to the left big toe, wrapping around and kicking through, and opening and closing, heel taps to the ground, lengthening the spine here. Just feeling into that hamstring muscle, and it's fine to have a small bend of the knee if that needs to happen here. From here, we're just going to start to find the swing, the opening and the closing, as we ding dong the leg. Breathe in here. Lovely. And finding yourself back, sole of the foot to the inside thigh, preparing for your half lotus. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one, preparing for a forward fold. And heart leads forward as you relax over the legs. Finding the edge of your stretch, whatever that is to you. And then just breathing there. Taking a few indulgent breaths here. And noticing the cause of effect of your breath in correlation to your stretching. Can you surrender or find a little bit more space and depth in your out breath? Lovely. Slowly drawing yourself back up to your seated position here. Stacking the knee up and allowing it to fall to the side. Stacking it up. Squeezing in the abdominals here as well and fall to the side. Inhale. And allow it to fall. Gorgeous. Slowly here, we're going to stack up the leg, find our sit bones again as we breathe here. Reaching in our position to the leg and then floating the hand behind us, taking a hook and opening our heart as we find our spinal twist here, drawing the belly button to the spine and taking a few breaths for yourself. Noticing the back space around you and bringing yourself back to your center and slowly release the hand. Taking a moment here to prepare for our bind. Inhale, 2 hands reach up. And exhale, separate the hands, swimming the hand around the front shin. And if we can, take the bind. And sometimes it's easier if we step our foot in before we go. So we find our bind here. And just feeling into this pose. How does it feel right now as you breathe into this space? Heaviness in the head, tension melting away. And breathing. And just notice if we are fully surrendering to where we are at. And just breathing here. Releasing in the bind or the forward fold as you bring yourself back onto your seated. Taking the sole of the foot and finding it opposite the pelvis, foot in line with the shin here as you rest on the ground. Notice your sit bones melting on the ground here. Reaching the hand of the extended leg and sliding it down the leg and just feeling the weight of your head here whilst paying attention to that top shoulder so we can really open and find the rotation in the spine here as you breathe. Reaching the hand up and over and just taking a few breaths here. Notice the head fall heavy. And slowly bringing yourself up to your seated position, stepping the foot out to the side, internal and external rotation on this leg, feeling into the possibilities of opening and closing in the hip joint, rolling over the feet. Lovely. And stacking yourself back in center, finding that spinal twist that we had before. And breathing here. And bringing yourself back to your center. Taking a cactus pose and just looking to the ceiling as you open across the chest. Neutralize the spine here, because chances are we might naturally want to project in the rib cage. Right hand under left. And breathing in your eagle pose. Lengthening tall and just taking gentle twists. And back to center, release the hands. Interlace the fingers and rounding out the spine. And then sitting back to your neutral spine here. Release, find your cactus. Taking opposite hand to the hand that you've just taken underneath. So taking your left hand underneath and finding your eagle pose, breathing here. Taking small, gentle twists. And back to center, release the hands, reaching as you open. And just reaching the hands back as far as they go. And placing the hands on the thighs. Beautiful. So, That could be your practice, a grounded seated practice, or if you're ready to and you feel like you'd like an additional flow, you can join me by standing onto your mat, taking your time to stand here. Just going to adjust my mat here. Might need to adjust it a little bit more. Dancing in the plant. Lovely. Okay. So just going to open up my screen. Very professional. Good. There we go. Get the bookshelf out. Lovely. Okay. So I'm going to face this way. Finding your feet, making connection with the ground, and just noticing your tailbone dropping down. Quite often we see swaying tailbones, but just thinking heavy tailbone dropping to the ground beneath me. Noticing a sense of openness across the chest and the heart space, hearts open, energy out through the head, and energy drawing from the ground to lift us up to our sense of vertical. Inhale, reaching the hands high. Exhale, find your forward fold. Drawing the sit bones back and enjoying the dive as you find your lengthening legs here. Taking a small bend of the knee. Notice your head heavy here and just nod yes. Shaking no. And nodding yes. And allowing that to naturally settle here in your forward fold. Inhale, lifting the head and the torso to your half lift, fingertips to the ground, shoulder blades spreading, or hands on your shins. Inhale and exhale, lower down, finding your forward fold. Option here is to take around the backs of the ankles. Just draw yourself in towards the legs, releasing the hands. Stepping your right foot back, followed by left, spreading the hands as wide as you can. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lower the knees, followed by the chest and the chin. And slowly taking your time here to find your baby cobra. Open your heart here. Shifting the pelvis back. And through a round spine as you take your neutral spine in your downward facing dog. Rotating the shoulders inwards as you breathe here, spreading the shoulders across the back. Noticing your thumb and your first finger pressing into the ground, lifting the sit bones, drawing up the thighs. Spreading gently and softly through the feet, one foot at a time. And reaching into your downward facing dog. Really lovely. Rising up onto the toes and lowering the heels. Shifting the weight forward to your high plank. Drawing your right knee to the chest. Taking a small twist as you drop onto the left leg and back to the center. Lifting in your right knee to squeeze it into the body, stepping that leg back, finding your downward facing dog. Breathing in your down dog. Reaching your right hand to the left ankle or shin,
And taking a spinal twist as you peer underneath your left armpit and deep breathing, drawing the belly button into the chest, to the spine, sorry, and slowly release. Breathing here and rising up and lowering the heels. Stepping the right foot into the top of the mat, followed by left. And reaching the hands back in space. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands, heart, center. Inhale, reaching high. And exhale, hands, heart, center. Left side, inhale. Exhale, find your fold, sit bones reaching back, heart forward, finding the fold of your hips. Enjoying the view on the way down, and then heavy head as you pour into your forward fold. And breathing. Notice the jaw relax here as you breathe. Lifting your sit bones high and taking a few breaths here. Inhale to your half lift, shoulder blades spreading and reaching, drawing the rib cage in here. You can place your hands on your shins if you need to, neutral spine. Slowly, softly melting back to the forward fold, taking your hands around the backs of the heels and drawing your torso and head through the middle of the legs if this feels right for you right now. And breathing here. Lovely, releasing in the hands, softening the knees and spreading your fingers as wide as they can go. Stepping left foot back, followed by right to find your high plank. Option here is you shift the weight forward over the wrist, drawing the shoulder blades down in the back to take your chaturanga. Or knees touch chin. Inhale, baby cobra. Open your heart. Option here is to lift the thighs. And slowly drawing yourself back to your all fours. Breathing here. Shoulder blades spreading in the back. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, slowly lower the heels. Left hand freely reaches for the right ankle or shin. Taking the gaze underneath the right armpit. Just breathing here. Releasing the hand. And finding a moment to find your all fours. Downward facing dog. Rising up as you inhale, lifting the sit bones. And exhale, lower the heels. Stepping left foot to the top of the mat, followed by right. Reaching the hands back in space. Inhale, root to rise. And exhale, hands, heart, center. Inhale, reaching the hands tall. And exhale, reaching away. Adding on to our flow now. Inhale. Exhale, hands, heart, center. Diving down, find your forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, slowly lower over the legs. Bending in the knees, stepping the right foot back to a high lunge. As you breathe here, fingertips to the ground. And hands to the thighs. Lifting out so that the hips are higher than the knees here. And just taking a few deep breaths. Reaching the hands high as you lift them up and away, as you drawing your hands to pistol grip here. And then prayer and hands heart center. Taking a spinal twist in the direction of the front leg. So if your left foot is forward, you're going to take your twist into the left. Breathing here, drawing your left elbow back, feeling the squeeze in the glutes. And slowly bringing yourself back to your center, reaching the hands back in space. Inhale, reaching all the way up. And breathing here. Energy out through the fingertips. Left foot forward, so right hand's going to reach forward, left hand back. As you take your spinal twist, hands in tug of war here. Fingertips reaching in opposite directions to each other. Inhale, reaching the hands all the way up above the head, finding prayer and hands heart center. Slowly drawing your hands to frame the front foot and breathing here. Lowering the back knee to the ground, releasing the toes, fingertips to the ground, hands resting here, and just lifting the hips slightly as you find your position here for your low lunge. Inhale, sweep the hands up high. Exhale. Option here to take a back bend as you reach up and out of the waist. Inhale. And then exhale, allow the heart to reach for the sky. Inhale, reaching back to neutral spine. And exhale, floating the hands down. Stepping back from your high lunge to your high plank. Breathing here, shift the weight forward. And slowly lower down through chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Slow lower as a full plank. And inhale, find your baby cobra. Really release any tension in the front of the neck. And exhale, drawing yourself back through a round spine. Taking yourself to downward facing dog. And breathing in your down dog, actively pushing the ground away. Inhale, reaching the right hand to the left ankle, spinal twist. And breathing, using that hand as a lever and bringing yourself back to your center. Taking a few breaths in your down dog again. Inhale, draw your right foot up to the ceiling. Inhale. And allow the heart to open. Allow the hip to open here as you breathe here. Lovely. Allow the top foot to fall as you breathe in this pose. Notice that the hips and the shoulders are square to the mat, evenly taking the weight, falling off your underneath leg so that the other top foot falls to the side. You'll have more room than me. As we arrive here, inhale, reaching, press the hips up. And exhale, floating down. One more, inhale, flash dance moment. And exhale, floating the hand down. Inhale, lifting high. And exhale, softly lower the pelvis. Finding yourself stepping back to your high plank. And just adjust yourself here, finding your high plank. Stepping in your downward facing dog. Option here is to step, hop, or float your feet to the front of the mat. Stepping your feet in, reaching the pelvis back, dropping it down. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, lifting your right foot to freely float in your 90-degree angle balance here. And breathing. Standing tall, inhale, drawing the hands up above the head. Exhale, left hand over the right thigh, reaching your right hand back in space. Find your spinal twist, dropping the shoulders down here. Hands back to the heart center, lifting the knee as high as it goes and kicking back with the right leg, finding your warrior three. Inhale, standing tall. Exhale, release. Inhale, reaching the hands high. Exhale, hands floating down. Stepping the right foot back. Keeping your toes in line in the same direction here. And then just checking that the back hip might wander off to open a little. So just drawing that back hip round so that our hips are square here. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, finding your forward fold, pitching and hinging at the hips. Breathing here, energy out through the head. Taking the hands to the heart center in prayer. Inhale. Exhale. Imagining our head is like a key turning in the lock. We're just going to take a tiny spinal twist. Right hand down to the side of the left foot. And opening here as we draw up our hand. You can do this on your block or your fingertips, depending on what you need. Slowly close the block of the top hand. And stepping the foot so that two knees bend here as you find your forward fold in your ragdoll pose with soft knees. Left hand into the ground, left foot planting into the ground, left knee bends, right leg lengthens, right hand reaches away. Inhale. Exhale. As the hand freely draws a circle a few times, just opening across the chest and the heart and breathing as we go. Inhale, big reach. Exhale, soften. Bending both knees down and switching side, right leg bent, right hand into the ground. Inhale, reaching the left hand away and opening. Inhale, reaching high and opening. And one more. And softening down. Reaching the hands back in space. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, floating the hands down. Breathing here. Inhale, reaching the hands high. Exhale, find your forward fold over the legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, softly down. Bending in the knees, stepping your left foot back, followed by right. Drawing your left knee into the heart space. And rotating on your right back foot as you find your twist. And drawing back to center, lifting the top knee. And if you can, stepping it down in front of you. And breathing here, not an easy transition. Bringing your fingertips to the ground. Planting the front foot into the ground. Checking that your hips are square before you take your hands to the thighs. High hips as you breathe here. I've realized that I'm on the other leg, but I'm just going to stay here for now. You stay where you are, and I'm just going to change over legs. And you feel free to do the same if you've gone with me. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, hands heart center. Finding your spinal twist over the front leg. And maybe you could take this a little bit deeper. Inhale, back to center. Exhale. Inhale, reaching the hands up above the head. And exhale, finding your reach in opposition. Inhale, reaching hands high. Exhale, frame the front foot. Slowly and gently releasing here as you breathe. Checking that the knee is stacked on top of the heel as you breathe in. Fingertips to the ground, reaching with the heart open, squeezing in the shoulder blades. Inhale, lifting high. And exhale, relax. Inhale, drawing fingertips up high. And finding your back bend. Lengthening the spine and exhale, floating down. And tucking the toes, lifting the hips, stepping the front foot back to find your high plank. Shift the weight forward. Slowly lower at the elbows. Inhale, shift the hips forward. Finding your baby cobra or up dog. Rolling over the toes or shifting the pelvis back, knees down to the ground, tuck the toes under. Finding your down dog. And breathing. Push the ground away with the hands and the shoulders, active downward facing dog. Inhale, left hand to the right ankle joint and just looking underneath as you breathe here. And back to center. And breathing deeply. Inhale, drawing the left leg up. And allow the left hip to float open here as you breathe. Taking the foot to fall as you open in the hip. Pressing the ground away. Allowing the top foot to fall as you fall off the leg, arriving safely down to the ground. Pelvis lift as you inhale, look to hand, and exhale down. Inhale, taking the gaze to the ceiling with the hips. And exhale softly down. Inhale, big lift, pressing through the feet, lifting the hips up as high as we can. And exhale softly down, bringing yourself back onto your mat as you find your high plank. Shifting to down dog. Releasing any tension in the neck or the jaw. Left foot followed by right, or step, hop or float to the top of the mat. Reaching the hands back in space. Drop the pelvis down. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, floating down. Shifting the weight into your right leg, left leg freely floats to our balancing 90-degree angle here. Breathing. Inhale, drawing the hands up above the head. And exhale, right hand over the left thigh, reaching the left hand back in space. Drop the shoulders. Drawing the belly button back to the spine. As you breathe here. Hands heart center. Energy out of the head, standing tall in your supporting leg. Inhale, lift the knee as high as it goes before we take our kick back. Sending the head forward, kicking the heel away, finding your T balance. And breathing. Drawing up your front thigh. Standing tall, inhale, reaching the hands above the head. And exhale, floating the hands down. Lovely. Stepping your left foot back this time. Toes to the ground and just drawing the hips so that they're square. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reaching the crown of the head up and away, pressing into the feet, big toes into the ground. And sending the sit bones back, finding your hinge at the hips. Along the spine. And breathing. Drawing the rib cage towards the spine. And allowing yourself to breathe here. Finding your head key in the lock. Finding your twist towards the front leg. And then dropping the left hand down. Finding your revolve triangle as you breathe here, reaching high. Notice any tension in the neck. Just taking a moment to breathe here. Close the top hand down. And breathing here. Using the hands as support. Stepping your back foot in. Hip width apart, reaching your sit bones down to the ground. Hands reaching back in space. Drawing your fingertips back. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, take a rise, lift the heels. And slowly lower the heels down. And whenever you're ready, you can just take a little moment to breathe. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. And this time through the mouth, sighing. Beautiful. Slowly and gently making your way down to your comfortable seated position. Soles of the feet together, just making a diamond shape here. And breathing. heart forward, and just finding your forward fold. Slowly drawing yourself up to your seated kneeling pose. And just taking a moment here to breathe. Notice the natural flow of your breath. Not having to breathe in any particular way, but just to breathe here. Notice if any tension creeps into the inside thighs or the legs, and just relaxing here. As we notice, we can soften. Drawing the knees together and just taking yourself down onto your back. Taking a little moment to draw the knees into the chest. And feeling your back surface connect with the ground underneath you. Head in line with the spine. Inhale, draw the nose towards the knees, round the shoulder blades. And slowly allow the feet to fall, head to fall, as you arrive in your constructive rest. Breathing into the belly. Planting the hands by the hips, and then inhale, lifting in the hips and the pelvis as you find your bridge pose. And slowly lower the pelvis down, taking the knees to fall one way, and stack them back up, allow them to fall the other way. And stack them back up, and then just slowly allow your feet to just reach to the top of your mat. And releasing the feet so that they can roll outwards, allowing the hips